So a lot of times when you're working with a couple, you have an emotional buyer, one that's really concerned about how everything makes them feel and those types of things. And then you have the analytical or the numbers person. We were definitely no different when we bought our house. I'm obviously the numbers guy, always looking at the numbers and making sure that the numbers make sense. And you're the emotional one. So I think sometimes, as an agent, you kind of have to cater to each party and, make sure that everybody's comfortable in moving forward. So kind of tell us like what, when we were looking for a house, like what were the emotional things that you were concerned about?
So I very much wanted, if I'm the emotional one, that I'm also the social one. And so I wanted to be a part of a community that was like active because our first neighborhood, we knew the neighbors that lived directly next door to us, but the neighborhood as a whole did not hang out together, or there was no HOA, so everybody just was living their life, and I wanted to be part of communities. So there was I want to be in a big community that has lots of kids, and I want there to be the swim and tennis, so the kids can be on the swim team and do all of the stuff where you're with the people all the time. And so there was a lot of research into, okay, where are those neighborhoods, and driving around to see, which thankfully my husband's a real estate agent, so that was really helpful in knowing already these are the neighborhoods I think that would work for what I was looking for. And I mean, I've seen you operate with obviously when we were buying our house, like you were playing two roles, agent and husband, but I've seen you do that like with your clients where you very much do try to find them a middle ground, because obviously if there's numbers, there's numbers involved for a reason. Those numbers are very important. Want to keep people on their budget so they're not house poor and all that, but it is important. Um, for people to have, that's the whole appeal of living in certain areas, is that they want to be a part of an active, well, some people don't want to be a part of an active community, but for me it's like, no, I want that. I want to know my neighbors. So good job, babe, high five, because our neighborhood is very active. Our HOA has a social committee, which I am on, and they put on stuff for throughout the year, various things, and then we get together with the cul-de-sac, like on
Or
a
you get together.
You come too now. I make him join in now. If you didn't know, David is an introvert, and so I make him. He likes people.
I love people.
It's just I don't know if I want to go, and then when we leave, you enjoy it. You enjoy the neighbor.
I do enjoy the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I enjoy the cul-de-sac and the gatherings and stuff like that. But yeah, I think when we were looking at the house, it's like, okay, we need a certain amount of bedrooms because we have, for us and the kids, I wanted a flat driveway, and I wanted a basement. Like those were my things. And obviously I wanted to be in the school district that we wanted to be in for the kids. But other than that, I was just kind of like, it doesn't matter to me. Like those are the things that matter, as long as the numbers make sense and, we can afford the monthly payment that we're looking at. I don't really, I remember telling you, like, I don't really care what the rest of the house looks like,
Yeah.
know.
I very much wanted everything to look like a model home. That was important to me then. That is not what we have. And I would say, what, have we lived in there 10 years? 10 years in, I do not care. Now we're talking about renovating the kitchen, and David is the one that's talking about doing all this expansion and stuff. And I'm like, I do not care. It could literally just be updated as it is, and I'd be fine with that because now I've adapted. And I do remember there was one thing that was important to you that I was like, I don't really care. That has been a huge thing that I enjoy, is the cul-de-sac. Like you just mentioned the cul-de-sac. I didn't really care about a cul-de-sac. You very much wanted one. And now that I live in one, we call ourselves the Coldy crew, because we're a little village of people, and our kids go in and out of our houses, and it's really cool to be. And also, we don't have to worry about cars and stuff as much, because when we moved in, Chase was really young, And I remember that first house, and you even let me put a contract on that house. The first house, I was feeling a little stressed about the deadline. So a different number. I was stressed about the date. Like we needed to get into a house by a certain date for schools and whatnot. And so there was this house, I won't name the neighborhood, lovely neighborhood. Every time I passed that neighborhood, I'm like, I'm so glad that David was like, ugh, I don't really like it. You even said, you were like, if you like this house, I'll put a contract on it. I don't love it. And I look back at that and I'm like, that was emotional. Do not go with your emotions all the way, because that house was on a main street on a busy road. I would have hated both of those things. And then there was no heating and air in the basement. I still can't believe you said yes and let me put a contract on that thing. But anyway, that was an emotional decision. So I would say don't lead with the emotions. It's important to have somebody, that can talk you down
Yeah.
from that and show you the things that maybe sound good on paper, but in real life would not have been good.
Yeah, I definitely try and mention that to people. And I always say that, I mean, people have different opinions on different things. They have different needs and wants for, their specific situation. So I always do try to point out things like that. Like, hey, are you okay that, there's probably a little more traffic flow on this road than maybe one of the other houses that we saw? Or, hey, it's got a drive under garage. You're going to have to walk a flight of stairs every time you, take stuff in and out of the car. Is that okay for you? I've even had, maybe some clients that were looking to downsize, or, that were looking maybe for something that they felt like was their last home. It's like, okay, do you want to walk stairs? Are you okay with walking stairs? Are you okay not having the primary bedroom on the main level? Yes, this is a beautiful home. It's in a beautiful neighborhood and it checks a lot of the boxes. Is this, something that's super important to you, or is that something that you're okay with, because you have these other things? And I think that's something too that we talk about is, okay, what are your wants? What are the things that you're interested in? And then it's okay, well, what do we got, you know, 5 out of 8 of those, or what are the most important, where it's like, okay, if I had these 3 or 4 things, then maybe these other 2 or 3 things wouldn't be as important. And I think that's kind of where the analytical side comes in, over the emotional side of, oh yeah, it does this and this and this,
Mhm.
but does it meet all of those needs that you're really looking for?
Yeah, I remember when you were having a conversation with one of your recent first time home buyers. So like they really were seeking your guidance on like what's important, because they're married, their kids are super young, so helping them to look ahead. And I remember, and we've talked about this before, but one of the things that people, again, it sounds all right on paper, but the commute. So they were looking in these areas and there were some houses that were super far out, and the husband was loving this one house, and we kept saying, you are not going to be loving this house at all after you've sat in Atlanta traffic for an hour and a half. Because again, like it's like you can type it into Waze and it'll be like 43 minutes in the middle of the day on the Tuesday, but on Friday afternoon, you're going to be sitting for an hour and a half.
I've
And
actually had clients that have gotten up early, driven to the house that they were interested in, to leave that house at the time that they would go to work and take their commute during the day to see what it actually looks like.
yeah, because that's a big thing. You and I used to commute, and even though it was like I was commuting to Johns Creek, and you were commuting to Norcross from Swanee Sugar Hill, which sounds fine until you're sitting on McGinnis Ferry with all of Gwinnett County. And I just remember, like, yeah, commute is a big thing for me. I mean, you cut your commute, but mine, I just remember getting home and just like, yeah, I do not love this house or this location because I have been sitting in the car with the sun in my face for 45 minutes. I mean, these are really important things to consider.
It's real life.
It is real life.
Yeah, it happens. So it's definitely important to take both sides into consideration. You can walk into a house and it looks beautiful, all the updates are done and everything like that. But if the community, if the neighborhood, the location, those things, the practicality of the layout, if those things don't work for you, then it doesn't matter how nice the house looks inside or how many upgrades they have. It's probably not the right house for you.